Hey there, clan and fellow Dragon Age nuts. Welcome to another Inquisition Party member video. In today's installment, we're going to be talking about the storyteller of the group, the possible merchant of our group as well, someone who we're all familiar with and who's a member of a very prestigious club, shall we say. I give you Varric Tethras. Let's dive into this, shall we?
Once we were in our peace with our lives assured. Once we were not afraid of.
So let me clarify this right off the bat. I really do not have much to say. A lot of people agree with this on Varric. Mostly due to the fact that we got a lot of Varric's backstory, who he is, and the type of person that he is in Dragon Age 2. So I don't want to spend too much time talking about the Varric that we all know and love from Dragon Age 2, because it is basically the similar Varric that we get in Dragon Age Inquisition. And of course that is no doubt no in small any part due to the voice actor Brian Bloom, who returns and reprises the role, who just does an exceptional job to keep the character the way that we love him, with his charming, his accent, and of course his fabulous chest hair. We can't forget that. So really, as I said, I'm going to be fixating mostly on Inquisition's Varric rather than Dragon Age 2's Varric, even though I could probably talk about an hour or two about that Varric alone. So just want to clarify that before we actually get started. Now, firstly, I will state that it is the same Varric, as I stated, that we get from Dragon Age 2 that is in Dragon Age Inquisition. He does have a little bit more baggage though, especially in regards to Red Lydium, and of course what it did to him, especially in Dragon Age 2 with his brother. Now, of course, I'm also talking about my Varric, who killed Bartrand and did not keep the shard, because that thing, all Red Lydium needs to be destroyed. That's just a fact. And that's the kind of Varric I knew. And right off the bat, when you're introduced to him within his first scene, you're just like, there's my brother. There's Varric. There's the guy I love. He's charming, he's funny, and he's a cocky son of a bitch. And of course, you never touch Bianca. And I just love that we get to interact with him so quickly within the first game. I'm very glad that he is actually one of the party members that we get right off the bat. Him, Solus, and Cassandra, in my opinion, were the perfect pick for the first three party members that we had, just because of two of them we're very familiar with, and of course Solus's role in the game. I like the fact that we did get a bit of familiarity, especially with Varric. As soon as you met him, you were just like, that's my Varric. And I really did like that. But even with the subtle voice acting, you can tell that there is something about that, especially when you come to the first choice that you make in the game, which is to either go around the sneaking part, the quiet and more sneaking part, or go through the military one, which is a straight in, charge forward and kill everything. The Varric right off the bat says you cannot leave your men behind. That inclination is just like, that's the Varric I know. Varric does not leave anyone behind if he does not have to. And I always love that about Varric. Any of his contacts, any of his agents that he has, he never leaves behind. And that's why I always kind of go with the fact that I always go that route. Just because, one, it's the smartest route, and two, Varric's a convincing son of a bitch. What can I say? So I always go with that one because it just feels natural. Plus, my Inquisitor leaves no man or woman behind if they can help it. So I do like that. That's the first introduction of Varric we get. That basically solidifies the kind of character he is, and I really do enjoy that. Now, as I say, of course, this is a continuation of his story, really, Varric's story. Dragon Age 2, we got everything we need to know about him. In Dragon Age Inquisition is the continuation of his story, his reasoning for wanting to destroy all Red Lydium, and of course his reasonings with Bianca, who we do actually meet in the game, which I'm very glad we actually got to put a face to the name, even though she did also make an appearance in the Dragon Age Inquisition comic. I believe it is Until We Sleep is the one that she is. I actually have the singular issues over there and also the library thing of that. We got to see Bianca in that, but to actually see her in the game was something quite different. And we also we also see why Varric loves her, because they're two sides to the same coin in a way. They both have very unique personalities, very unique charisma about them, and also just slight differences in them. Of course, Bianca being a very, very talented smith, of course, with her being the one that created Bianca, even though Varric just constantly says, nope, wasn't her. Swear it wasn't. Nope. You get to see their chemistry, and that was also nice to see the continuation of his character evolve. And I will say, Bianca is a bit of a bitch in the game, I won't lie, but you can definitely see that she does care for Varric in a way that probably means more than the person she's actually married to. So I liked their chemistry. I liked Bianca, even if she was a bit of a bitch. But we do get to see more of Varric, more of the Varric that we don't normally see. Varric is very much in the ideals of the words. He's wearing a mask. He's the cocky, charismatic guy. That's a mask that he puts on. Very much in the same line of Liliana. And in my opinion, him and Liliana actually are very similar to each other. Liliana takes on the role of the spy master of the Inquisition, when Varric, in all honesty, probably just suited the role a lot better, in all honesty. But Varric states off the back that he cares too much about his agents. Liliana doesn't, at least at the start. Liliana, the way that I'll get to her eventually, but I do feel like commenting on this with Varric, of course, and I don't know if I get her next, maybe we'll see, but it's kind of a nice interesting contrast to see that Liliana's kind of where Varric was when he started to be a spy master with his agents. Varric went down the route of keep caring about his people, while Liliana is still deciding that at the start of the game, and I'll get to her when eventually if I draw her at the next set of cards. But it's kind of interesting to see the parallels between her and Varric. I kind of find that fascinating, in all honesty. But it's nice to see Varric went down the route that has suited him best. I really do like that. Varric is just seeing his story continue, especially with the pain that he went through with his brother, that you can tell, especially my Varric, as who had to kill his own brother, basically. You could feel the pain that he goes through there. And also, the one thing that he kind of had kept secret from all of us, which I'll get into. One thing we can all agree about Varric is his heart is always in the right place, even if it is slightly misguided. And that, of course, is no exception with, of course, his friend Hawk, or our Hawk, who we do see in Dragon Age Inquisition. I am very happy to hear that actually Varric did not turn his friend in. Like, Varric was being interrogated for no one knows how long. Even after the events of Dragon Age 2, he was probably still interrogated by Cassandra after, of course, their travel from Kirkwall to the Temple of Sacred Ashes. There was no if-buts-word that he was still being interrogated at that point, and he was coming to there possibly to be actually talked to the divine. But through all that, Varric never once gave up his friend, who he knew exactly where they were. And that's something I like about Varric. He is a true friend, someone who will basically die for you. If you can earn Varric's trust and friendship, he will not turn over you no matter how fucking much torture he goes through. I'm even pretty sure that he could be interrogated by the Qunari and he wouldn't turn over his friend Hawk. I could probably guarantee that Varric has that kind of personality. He would rather die than turn on a friend, which I love that about Varric. His heart is always in the right place, and I do like that. And I will admit, I'm a bit on his side to why he did not turn over Hawk, because he gives a great reason. You wanted him for something that he didn't want to do. I wasn't going to give you my friend because you look what you did to me. I wouldn't be surprised if he was tortured. You interrogated me. You dragged me halfway across Theris. And then he states right off the bat, if Hawk had been at the Temple of Sacred Ashes doing the explosions at the Conclave, he probably would have been dead. He or she, and my Hawk's a he, of course. They would have been dead. There was no if, buts, or what's about it. They would have been dead. And Varric stays stuff, and you can feel that pain with Cassandra as well that she's going through. That she's ratting her mind, going, he's probably right, and she hates that fact. I love that about that moment. That was one of my favourite scenes. It was more of a Varric scene than a Cassandra scene. It just emphasises his character more, in my opinion. But I also like the fact that Varric is basically like, look, Corypheus is a danger, and I only know one person who can actually deal with that. And he knew the moment he called Hawk into Skyhold, Cassandra was going to bloody either kill him or at least try to kill him. He knew that, and he was like, I have no choice but to do it. So he at least knows when he needs to come clean and say, yep, I knew where he was the whole time. I like that about Varric. He knows when his friends are needed, and he knows when his friends need to be left alone. That's something I kind of like about Varric. Varric, in my opinion, is one of the truest friends that you could have in Inquisition and also Dragon Age 2, and it's a good example of what friendship really is. So I definitely like that about Varric, and I still stand by this statement. That is why he should not be romanceable, ever. One, he's in love with Bianca, and two, he's a great friend. He loves people. but he's not in love with people sometimes. So I definitely like that. Varric, really the only obsession that kind of Varric has throughout the game is, of course, to destroy the red lyrium. That's actually one of the quests you get from him, to destroy as much of the red lyrium as you can find, and also basically find out where it's coming from and how the hell did it get out of there. Turns out it was because of Bianca, which... stupid little bank. And you can tell that it hurts him, that the person that he loves, that he probably trusted probably more than others, went behind his back. But he still loves her, and I kind of like that his obsession blinded him a little bit. He wanted to know what this red lyrium is, but at the same time he also knows that it's a danger. It's very dangerous, probably the most dangerous substance in all of Tethras, and he knew that he had to either destroy it and also make sure that it didn't get into the right hands. He kind of in a way blames himself for the discovery of red lyrium. He kind of sees in his way that if it wasn't for what he did with his brother and Hawk, red lyrium would never have been discovered. No one would know what red lyrium is. It would be something that no one cared about. He's wrong, because I have no doubt that red lyrium would have still been in plain effect because of Corypheus. Corypheus probably created most of the red lyrium that he used, but I'm more than certain that even without Varric, red lyrium would still have been discovered by someone. Red lyrium is an incredibly powerful thing, but an incredibly dangerous thing as well. Definitely way more dangerous than any other substance in all of Tethras, to our knowledge at least. So I like the fact that Varric does actually blame himself, and it does take some convincing to go to him that basically, look, you made a mistake, live with it, deal with it, we have to move on, your mistake's done, but even if you hadn't discovered that red lyrium, Corypheus would have found another method to try and do that, and I have no doubt that Corypheus knew how to make red lyrium. I'm pretty certain he almost did. So I like that he's a bit obsessed, but also at the same time that you can convince him and say, look, what's done is done, let's move on, let's go save the world. So I like that about him. It's definitely a major plus for that. One thing I've always also liked about Varric is the fact that he knows when he needs to reveal his secrets. I have no doubt that Varric is probably one of the most well-connected dwarves in all of Tethras, and also probably, in all honesty, is a better spy master than Liliana. There is no doubt about that. He is probably the best spy master. And he also has a good judgment of when his secrets need to be revealed. That's something I'm only going to spend a little bit of time on that. I've already stated what I think about him as a spy master, but I definitely think that he knows when his secrets have to be revealed. He knows how to play his cards. He knows when they need to be played well, and that's something I think is very important about Varric. Is he knows when you need to play your cards. He knows when to hold them, but he knows when to let them go as well. So I definitely think that's a major plus for Varric. And it also gives you a good explanation of his reasoning. Beyond the main reasoning for joining the Inquisition is, of course, he was kind of dragged there by Cassandra, but also the red lyrium. That is a major incentive, and that's his primary motive, in my opinion, to try and stop the flow of red lyrium, but also to try and improve the world. Varric does want to try and make the world better, even if he does it ever so slightly, and that's something that I think is very apparent at the end of Dragon Age Inquisition, when he basically says that he wants to write a book. He's an author. He's an author. He writes books. He's wrote smutty books. He's wrote fantasy. He's wrote comedy. He's wrote romance. He's wrote everything. But he says that he wants to write like a biography of what the events happened with the Inquisition up to Corypheus. But also he wants to go and help people. He wants to go and help people in Kirkwall and the Free Marches to help rebuild, to make the place a little bit better. But something I think is very important about Varric, he also knows the power of words. Words are a very powerful thing to him, and they're also a very powerful thing to everyone. Words can help shape a world. Words can destroy a world. Words can inspire. Words can crush. Words can give you hope. Words can tell a story that can never be untold. Words are a powerful thing, and Varric knows that, and that's one reason I think he became an author. But it's something that he definitely does treasure. He treasures the power of the written word, even if he happily admits that his written word's fucking horrible sometimes. Like, well, fucking hell, that swords and shield. What's the smutty one called again? I think it's Swords and Shields or something. Like that one that Cassandra loves. He's just like, look, that's fucking horrible. I happily admit that. I love that he's a critic of his own work. That's very, very real of an author. It's like you're very critical of your own work. But I definitely like that about Varric, that he knows the power of the written word, and he wants to tell the tale of the Champion, which he already did, which is his best-selling book, but also tell the tale of the Inquisitor and the Inquisition. Major pluses on that, bonuses. I don't think I have much else to say about Varric. I've basically covered everything that I want to say about him. He is, in a way, probably the best character out of Dragon Age 2. In fact, there's no doubt about it. He is probably one of the most well-developed characters in Dragon Age 2. He was probably worked on a lot more than the other characters. I do apologise for that. But I also like the fact that he was in Inquisition. We got to see his story come to an end in a way. So I do like that. I love Varric. There's no ifs, buts about it. He's a member of the Chester Society for life, in all honesty. And I do absolutely adore his character. His voice actor, Brian Bloom, does an excellent job, of course. And if he does return, he does need to voice him again. So I give every credit to Brian Bloom. Varric is just an awesome character, and that's all I have to say about him. I've said everything I wanted to say about him. He is awesome. I love him. And he's definitely one of the top characters in all of Dragon Age. Now we're moving on to the last set. We have Liliana, Lady Josephine, Cole, and Cullen. Our 3 advisors and 1 party member left down, people. Who are we going to get next? I kind of want to do Liliana next. In more ways than one, but that's beside the point. But let's keep modelling up. Now, you will see it. I will not. So keep shouting at the screen if you want to see who I can get. So, who do I talk about next? This one, this one, this one, this one. Blind. Pick this one. Close these over. Can't almost Liliana, but it is... Oh my. The Queen of Coins. We're going to be talking about Lady Josephine Montriette. That should be interesting. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all next time.